Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before you relax, I need you to feel this. The quiet moment when a woman smiles at you, yet pulls away inside. That tension is not about attraction. It's about whether you can meet the needs she never names. If that unsettles you, stay with me. If you value growth and clarity, subscribe now and like this video, because what I am about to share will change how you're seen and how you see yourself. I'm speaking to you as a psychologist and as a mentor. The first intimate need is emotional safety without control. Many men confuse strength with dominance. Women read strength as steadiness. She needs to feel that her emotions can land with you and won't be mocked, minimized, or used later as leverage. When she shares fear, she's not asking for a fix. She's asking for containment. Can you stay present without interrupting, defending, or correcting? That presence tells her nervous system it can rest. Here's the truth most men miss. Emotional safety is built in micro moments. It's your tone when you disagree. It's your curiosity instead of assumptions. It's your ability to say, "I hear you," and mean it. When you rush to solutions, she feels alone. When you stay, she feels chosen. Another layer of this need is predictability without boredom. Chaos feels exciting at first, but it exhausts her. She wants to know who you are on good days and bad days. Consistency is not dull, it's rare. If your reactions swing, her trust shrinks. And listen carefully. Emotional safety includes boundaries. A man who can say no calmly is safer than a man who says yes resentfully. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be regulated. When you regulate yourself, you invite intimacy without pressure. If you can offer this, you become a place she can breathe. If you can't, she may still desire you, but she will never fully relax. And a woman who can't relax can't fully attach. Learn this, practice it daily, and notice the shift. Her eyes soften, conversations deepen, conflict becomes repairable. This is not manipulation, it is maturity. The men who master this are rare because it requires patience, humility, and courage. If you choose it, you change the entire dynamic, starting tonight. Stay present, stay steady, and watch trust grow where fear once lived, inside her heart. The second intimate need is to feel deeply understood without being analyzed. This is where many intelligent, well-meaning men lose her. They listen like investigators, not like witnesses. Understanding is not dissecting her emotions, it's sensing the meaning behind them. A woman wants to feel that you grasp her inner world, not just her words. When she says she's tired, she may mean she feels unseen. When she's quiet, she may be protecting something tender. If you jump too quickly to logic, she feels studied instead of known. And no one opens their heart to someone who feels like a case file. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Being understood requires emotional literacy. You must know your own inner language before you can read hers. If you avoid your feelings, you will rush hers. If you judge your vulnerability, you will silently judge hers too. She will feel that judgment, even if you never say it. Understanding shows up in reflection, saying, "It sounds like you felt dismissed," instead of, "You shouldn't feel that way." It shows up in memory, remembering what matters to her, not because you're trying to impress, but because it registered. When a woman realizes you remember how she experiences the world, her attachment deepens instinctively. This need also includes respecting her complexity. She can feel two opposite emotions at once: attraction and fear, love and anger, confidence and insecurity. When you demand simplicity, she feels reduced. When you allow complexity, she feels safe to be real. Most men want to be chosen for who they are. Women want to be understood for who they are. When you offer that, you separate yourself from the majority instantly. You don't have to agree with everything she feels. You have to acknowledge that her feelings make sense to her. And here's the psychological key. Understanding regulates desire. When she feels understood, her defenses lower. When defenses lower, intimacy increases. Not just physical intimacy, but emotional closeness that lasts. If you want to meet this need, slow down. Ask open questions. Listen for emotion, not facts. Reflect before responding. Let silence do some of the work. Silence, when held with presence, tells her you're not afraid of depth. Very few men master this because it requires ego restraint. But the ones who do become irreplaceable, not because they try harder, but because they see her more clearly than anyone else ever has. The third intimate need is feeling desired for who she truly is, not for a version of herself she thinks you want. Most men get this wrong because they chase the image, not the essence. Compliments on appearance alone, or shallow flattery, will never satisfy this need. She craves recognition of her mind, her spirit, her quirks, the things she often hides because she fears they'll push people away. Here's the hidden truth. Women can sense desperation. Desire that comes from neediness or ego feels like pressure, not passion. When you desire her authentically, her thoughts, her laughter, her intensity, you ignite something far deeper than lust. She feels seen at her core, and that feeling is addictive. It's primal, yet profoundly human. This need is about validation, but not the superficial kind. She doesn't want validation that says, "You look good." She wants validation that says, "I see you, all of you, and it matters." That acknowledgement communicates safety, attraction, and connection simultaneously. You're telling her, without words, that she is allowed to be whole around you. Most men misunderstand this and focus on physical attraction. But when you compliment the complexity she carries, the creativity in her mind, the depth of her emotions, something shifts. She relaxes into her authenticity because she realizes she doesn't have to perform to gain your attention. She doesn't have to mask insecurities. She can just be. The danger for men is confusing control with desire. Some think they need to make her chase to prove attraction. But authentic desire flows from respect and recognition, not manipulation. When she feels truly seen, her desire for you grows naturally. It's effortless and enduring. Another subtle layer. She wants you to notice the little things she rarely shows. A fleeting smile when she's proud of something. A quiet moment of vulnerability. These are not obvious, but when acknowledged, they communicate that you value her inner world more than surface-level appearances. That recognition builds a magnetic pull that no tactic can replicate. To master this, practice presence over performance. Look for what makes her feel alive and express genuine appreciation. Ask yourself, am I noticing her soul or just her skin? Desire the whole woman, and you will find yourself in rare company. Only 1% of men ever reach this level, and once you do, she won't just be drawn to you. She'll feel she belongs with you. The men who achieve this become unforgettable, not because they try harder, but because they see deeper. And seeing deeper is the key to satisfying this intimate need in a way that keeps her coming back, wanting more, and feeling completely understood. The fourth intimate need is to feel truly prioritized, not just occasionally, but consistently. Many men believe showing interest sporadically is enough. A text here, a compliment there, that's not enough. She needs to feel that she matters to you in the rhythm of your life, not just in the moments that are convenient. Here's the truth few men grasp. Prioritization is not about grand gestures. It's in the mundane. It's in remembering the coffee she loves, noticing when she's off balance, making time even when it's inconvenient. These small, consistent acts communicate that she occupies a real space in your mind and heart. It's the difference between fleeting attraction and lasting emotional attachment. Women are instinctively aware when they're an option versus when they're essential. When she senses she's only wanted on your terms, desire fades and tension rises. But when she feels prioritized, her nervous system relaxes. She can invest emotionally without fear, and that creates a profound magnetism that goes beyond physical attraction. Prioritization also includes respect for her time, her energy, and her ambitions. She wants a partner who doesn't just claim to care, but actively supports her journey. When you actively engage in her world, not to control it, but to understand it, you communicate that her life matters as much as your own. That validation is intoxicating because it's rare. Most men fail here because they confuse busyness with importance. "I'm too busy to text back" becomes code for "you aren't essential." Women pick up on this immediately. Prioritization isn't about availability. It's about conscious investment. It's about making her feel that, when the world pulls you both in different directions, she remains a touchstone, a safe harbor. Another hidden layer, emotional consistency. Prioritization is also about being there mentally and emotionally, not just physically. You can sit in the same room, but if your attention is elsewhere, she feels neglected. Presence is the modern currency of intimacy, and without it, no amount of gifts or affection can substitute. The men who master this don't just impress, they anchor. She knows she can rely on them without guessing. She feels held, supported, and deeply understood. Few men achieve this because it requires discipline, attentiveness, and selflessness. But when you do, she doesn't just desire you, she trusts you, craves you, and feels fully seen in your orbit. This is one of the invisible codes of intimacy most men will never unlock. Meeting this need transforms connection into loyalty. And loyalty, when coupled with desire, is unshakable. She will invest in you fully because she senses that you, unlike most, have invested in her fully first. That is magnetic, that is rare, that is power. The fifth intimate need is to feel emotionally adventurous without fear of judgment. Most men underestimate this because they think stability means avoiding risk. But here's the paradox. A woman craves someone who can hold the tension between safety and excitement. She wants to explore her deepest emotions, her wildest ideas, and even her insecurities, but only if she knows you won't punish her for it. Think about it. When she shares something raw, an embarrassing thought, a vulnerable fear, her nervous system is scanning for safety. If you react with sarcasm, correction, or disinterest, she shuts down. That tiny moment of withdrawal is remembered in layers she may never articulate. But when you respond with curiosity and empathy, she feels courage expand inside her. You become the container for her inner world, and that is intoxicating. Emotional adventure isn't just about big, dramatic gestures. It's about allowing her to experience depth without restraint, laughing until you both cry over a memory, sharing dreams that sound impossible, admitting fears that make you both tremble a little. These are the moments where intimacy transcends the mundane. This is where attachment is forged at a level most men never reach. Most men fail this because they equate control with love. They try to manage her emotions instead of witnessing them. But love, real connection, requires willingness to explore emotional intensity alongside her. Not to solve it, not to fix it, but to honor it. That is the magnetism she cannot resist. Another subtle layer. Emotional adventure requires courage. You must be willing to sit in discomfort without trying to escape. When she sees that you can hold your own feelings while she expresses hers, it signals maturity and stability wrapped in intensity. That duality, strength paired with sensitivity, is rare. Here's the psychological truth. The more she feels safe to explore with you, the more her desire grows. When she knows you can handle her depth, she leans into you. Not just emotionally, but physically and mentally. You become her confidant, her thrill, her anchor, all at once. Men who master this create a space where she can be fully alive, fully herself, without fear. It requires presence, patience, and courage. But when done correctly, she feels liberated. She feels magnetized. She feels understood in ways no one else has ever allowed. And that, more than any superficial charm, is what keeps her coming back, craving the unique intensity only you can provide. Embrace this, hold space, witness without judgment. That is emotional mastery, and it's a language most men never learn, yet it's the one she silently demands. The sixth intimate need is to feel intellectually and emotionally challenged in a safe way. She doesn't want someone who blindly agrees with her or constantly validates every thought. She wants a partner who stretches her mind, questions her assumptions, and invites her to grow without ever making her feel belittled. Few men realize that attraction thrives in tension that's anchored in safety. Think about it. She wants to feel alive in conversation, to be pushed to see new perspectives, to experience that thrilling mix of admiration and challenge. When a man can do this skillfully, he becomes irresistible. She doesn't just like him, she needs the intellectual and emotional friction he brings because it mirrors life at its most real and engaging. This need is dangerous territory for most men because it requires confidence without arrogance. You cannot dominate, lecture, or shame. That will shut her down immediately. Instead, you offer insight as an equal, invite dialogue, and welcome disagreement. You hold space for her opinions, even as you gently expand them. This balance of challenge and respect creates a unique psychological tension, one that keeps her mentally engaged and emotionally invested. Here's the key most men overlook. Intellectual and emotional challenge builds desire when paired with attunement. It's not enough to be clever. She must feel that you're attuned to her reactions, her feelings, and her boundaries. When she senses that you understand her enough to stretch her safely, she experiences a profound sense of connection that's addictive. Challenge also means confronting discomfort without defensiveness. When disagreements arise, you stay grounded, curious, and non-reactive. This shows her that you are capable of holding complex dynamics, an essential trait for a man who satisfies more than superficial desires. She feels safe exploring her edges with you because you are steady, present, and emotionally capable. Another subtle layer, the challenge must feel reciprocal. She wants to teach and to learn, to grow with you as a partner, not be trained by you. That dynamic, mutual respect, mutual expansion, is rare. Only a small percentage of men understand that desire is amplified when intellect and emotion collide safely. When mastered, this need transforms attraction into admiration and loyalty. She doesn't just want your presence, she craves it. Your opinions, your perspective, your calm guidance become essential. You are no longer just a man in her life. You are the one who challenges her safely, sees her fully, and makes her feel alive. That is the invisible bond most men never achieve, yet it's what the top 1% can offer, and what she unconsciously seeks every day. The seventh and final intimate need is to feel a profound sense of connection that transcends words, a kind of chemistry that feels inevitable, yet safe. This is the need most men never even recognize, because it can't be bought, forced, or faked. It's the culmination of everything else: safety, understanding, desire, prioritization, emotional adventure, and intellectual challenge. Without this, all other efforts feel hollow. She wants to feel that being with you is effortless, that your presence itself is nourishing. This is why women often pull away from men who are charming, successful, or attractive, yet fail to provide this invisible connection. You can have every external marker of desirability, but if she doesn't feel this resonance, her heart remains closed. Here's the truth most men overlook. This connection is less about what you do and more about how you exist. It's about being fully present, grounded in yourself, and attuned to her at the same time. When she senses that you are steady, confident, and emotionally available, her body, mind, and heart instinctively respond. She feels recognized without having to perform. This need also involves subtle synchrony, the micro moments where your energy aligns with hers. A smile, a touch, a glance held too long. They all communicate that she matters in ways words can't. It's biological, emotional, and psychological all at once. When done right, it creates magnetism that feels effortless, yet undeniable. Most men fail here because they focus on technique over presence. They try to manipulate chemistry or manufacture attraction. Real connection can't be forced. It emerges naturally from mastery of the 6 needs we've discussed: emotional safety, understanding, genuine desire, prioritization, emotional adventure, and intellectual challenge. Each of these layers builds the soil in which this rare connection can grow. Another subtle truth: vulnerability is the bridge to this connection. The man who can show his imperfections without shame signals that she is safe to do the same. The connection deepens when she realizes she is not alone in her fears, her desires, or her complexities. She doesn't just like you, she feels she belongs with you. Only 1% of men truly satisfy all 7 needs, and that's why they are unforgettable. When you integrate these elements into your life, you stop being one of the many who chase attraction. You become the man she instinctively trusts, desires, and wants to invest her life with. Connection, in its purest form, is magnetic, unshakable, and irreversible. If you take these truths seriously and practice them relentlessly, you will not just attract women, you will create relationships where intimacy, desire, and loyalty coexist effortlessly. That is power few men understand, but you can master it. You can become the rare man who meets her at every level and leaves her feeling fully seen, fully desired, and fully alive.